Aloha and welcome. I'm doing a pre-recorded live on the Friday. We're looking for the 8:30 a.m. catalyst. So this is the go-to chart on the 15-minute here, and we are on is the March contract for the S&P 500 micros. So let's get a lay of the land here. We've got this giant yellow daily fair value gap, consequent encroachments coming in right here on this red line. Above that, the purple line was prior day's first present fair value gap on the 1 minute. Above that, in the gray rectangle, what we have is the prior day PM open range. So that's really important because we left it and we've really never come back to it. London high, red line, London open. That's 6038.25. 6038.25. London zone. This is the hunting zone, 6041 high, London high, 6041. So what's happening with time? It's always time before price. So the time element coming in here is the first catalyst, 8:30. The next catalyst, of course, is going to be 9:30 New York open. And after that, 9:45 news catalyst, 10 a.m. news catalyst. So we've got a few events. The idea here is one trade setup, and that's it. And so what am I looking for? Because next week is Thanksgiving week. So the Thanksgiving week is super important because it's probably hands off. It doesn't mean I won't tape read though. So really Friday, the point is the end of the month is here. And probably my best trade idea is going to be one setup this Friday. 8:30 catalyst already came in. The time right now is 8:54. We're in the middle of a macro. And you can see, I don't believe it's a coincidence. 8:30 a.m. open, that catalyst point matched the New York midnight opens. This is more than a coincidence. This is price basically going back, retagging something that happened hours ago. The second thing I'm loading is the NDOG new day open gap. So we had a wide one here. It's in a tan color. Notice that price is really unwilling with escape velocity to go below. We have gone below already. If I scroll down here, you'll be able to see we went quite a bit below to a minor sell side liquidity level. But right now, the main thing that I'm really looking at is what about this November 21st prior day first present for fair value gap? That's a 1 minute first present prior day in purple. I'd like to see price hit that. But what have we got next on the catalyst? We've got this vertical line, time being the first element, and 9:30 is the New York Open. After that, we've got a 9:45 news catalyst event and then a 10. And then after the 10:30 is basically where I want to be flat and out based on what price is doing right now. And what it's doing right now, it's got to show me the willingness to get out of this tan rectangle here, the end dog, the 1122 end dog. We need to have escape velocity either way, and we need to do it in the time zones before these stars on this vertical line here. Over 12 hours later, here I am with the aftermath of the Friday trade. The short and sweet answer is I got out with a small profit on the AM New York session, and I'm going to go through that trade a little bit. I got a little something on this action and Globex. To recap, this is a video journal at the end of every week. And this was one of my best weeks in several weeks. And the reason was base hits, no home runs, base hits every day. And that's all Friday needed to be. I did not need to swing for the fences. Basically, what I was seeing on price action was everything was held in a box. Again, we mentioned the tan line right here, which was the new day open gap. And then once we had the open, so let me bring you here to the open, this blue line here, look to the right. 6034 on the March contract for RTH opens. How many times was that hit besides the RTH open? Only one other time, and that was the candle on 1025. I did not have the patience to endure a 1025 exit on the trade, but I did have the patience to wait before I did a single micro short sale a few candles in. Again, I'm looking on the 5-minute here. So my short was around this dotted line, give or take a handle. So let's just call it 6053. And my exit was on the 1005 candle right here. And again, I should have waited, could have waited, but I wasn't liking the price action at all. And I could get out for the day on a cumulative overall profit. This is my third scalp and only one trade in RTH. That's the important change I've made this week is if I make a trade in the RTH AM and it's a win, I stop. And many times I get greedy in the past and I would have had a win and I want more and I'm going to take a second trade. And then high probability, that's not always going to work out. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. I want a certainty of let's take my best shot in the AM with a high probability setup that's part of my model. And model is time first, price action second, time of day, time of week, and this fit everything. Okay, so it fit my model. It was in the time frame. I got displacement up. It came back down within the time frame. I could have a nice weekend with the holiday weeks coming and get out. So that was where I was coming from a mental capital standpoint. And psych is so important to trading. I don't want to go into the weekend with a lot of anguish, spent mental capital of blowing on a Friday when I had 4 days of good decision making, and then I blew it on the 5th day, Friday. So that was my thought process. Let's just break down the trades here because games were played in London. So if we go to London, again, with futures, it's 24 hours. And look at, we get down to the hunting zone from 2 a.m. to 5 p.m. They right before on the hunting zone at 4:40 a.m. in the morning, New York time, we hit this low here. And then that's it. The low of the day was in Globex, London. Forget about it when the New York team took over. They were not going to let it go anywhere near the London lows. So going into the new week, I've got a minor sell side liquidity level because of the London lows on Friday. Minor sell side liquidity. I'll carry that line into early next week. Tape reading only, holiday week, because on the institutional level, you've got to ask yourself, who's participating? Is it going to be the big banks? Is it going to be the big hedge funds, or are they going to take off? So I'm not going to be trying to get into the pockets of other retail traders. I want to wait till the big guns are out, and that's not going to be till after Thanksgiving. Here we are, London low, and then we hit a high in the AM, and that AM candle comes in at 9:45. What happened 9:45? We had news, and then here's 10 on the silver bullet, and then I'm out 10:05. See, so I played the time, played the news catalyst. That's why it's so important using economic calendar. What happened after that was not much. Price in a box. So the London high, 6041 here on this red line. We really didn't see this after the morning until we came in to the afternoon session last hour. We hit that London high on a low, but then RTH close was part of this open range. The open range is very important on the afternoon. They carry that through into the next day. My trade model is absolutely built on London and New York AM. But for going in the next trade on tape reading, I'm going to always use this PM open range. So bottom line, let's conclude this price action read. Reading price is so important with what price respected and disrespected. So for the New York team, the respect was the first present fair value gap, 1 minute That's the first after the open of the New York, within the first minute, not the 5 minute, 1 minute, when was the first fair value gap? And was it respected? And for the most part, except for this one candle right here, that's a 10:25 a.m. candle on the 5 minute. We wicked down here into the end dog new day open gap for the 22nd. So all these levels really were used and manipulated, and then it came back for 85, 90% of price action was held between London high and the AM high, and that was it. So 41 by 58, that was your zone, okay? Very narrow, consolidated. Was this low resistant liquidity? No, it was high resistance. So this was not a trade environment that is going to work for my model. And I needed to identify it. I felt I got the vibe that was happening. It wasn't going to go down. And that's why I didn't have the patience to wait for this candle here at 10:25. I was getting the vibe. This was going to be held. They weren't going to let it go down. And they really didn't. So that was my idea. I executed it. I played defense. Defense is what in sports wins championships. Same in trading. You want to live to see another day, be playing heavy on the D and use the shield, as my mentor says, before the sword, shield before the sword, okay? Or defense prior to offense. So that way you're going to be able to play the game another day. So that's what happened. I just basically took the whole afternoon off, came back, watched the price, did my chart action, and now here I am half a day later going into Saturday and the weekend. I can chill out on the futures, dry powder, cash, and I can enjoy the vacation, enjoy doing some things outside of being on the screens, like working out, riding my e-bike. So that's what I'm going to do. I appreciate all the viewers that take a look and support the channel, all of North America. I've got people in India, people in the Philippines. Shout out Philippines. Thank you so much for your support, your subscription, your comments. Please keep watching and supporting the channel. Have a great week coming up and a great holiday for those of you that celebrate it in America. Aloha. Take care. Bye-bye.